Okay, so today I wanted to offer a solution for those of you folks that have a Dawless rig that you may be wanting to speed up your setup breakdown sessions. I know that was a barrier for me, was getting all these portable synths and sequencers and drum machines set up so that I can enjoy them. You know, I stare at a computer screen all day long. When I get home, I don't want to stare at more of a computer screen to make some music just for fun, just to jam out. So I think I have a solution here I'd like to share with you, something that you could consider so that everything is in one spot so you can go ahead and just flip it open, plug it in, and go for it. So let's talk about it now. All right, so the grand scheme, this is actually a mixer bag. I believe it's a Gator. Let's see. It's a G-Mixerbag 3121. Again, that's a Gator G-Mixerbag 3121, and I'll show you the outside shortly. But let's take a look at what I have in it. And over here, you can see that I have the Beatstep Pro. That's basically the brain of everything. All my MIDI sequences are stored in there. It allows for 3 sequences. So I have the 2 synthesizers as well as the 1 drum machine that I could use. But that's, let me break it down. Let's just do this. So what I have in here, of course, the Sennheiser headphones, but what I have in here is the power supply. It's a Furman SS6B or SS6B. It was only 20 something dollars, and that was a good buy. With an extra long cable. I love that thing so I can get places. The only things I have plugged in here are the drum machine and the USB hub, which is over here. This is an Xcellon, I think it's a 10 USB hub, and everything is routed through here for the main power. It's less bulky than trying to find plugs for everything, and there wasn't enough anyway. There's only 6 over here. I think I have like 7 things to plug in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess I could have made it work. But anyway, the USB was a more elegant solution. But let's take a look at the rig here. So, Beatstep Pro is the brain. The first sequence is this Skulpt. It's a mono, this is the Craftsynth by Modal Electronics. It's mono. It's my lead synth, sequenced through here. And this is the Modal Skulpt synth. It's a polyphonic 4-voice synth. Yeah, get back to that. That's for harmonies, you know. So melody, harmony. This one is for bass. This is another Craftsynth, which is also sequenced on the second track. I do not use the drum track. I found it to be kind of, I don't know how to get the Beatstep Pro and the Modal samples to play nicely how I would like. You know, I'm sure I could set it up for basic functionality, but I just for whatever reason, basically, let me break it down what I'm having trouble with this real quick. This has 6 different MIDI channels, whereas the drum channel only has 1. So when I press, play on, if I sequence something through the drum channel here, it'll only play one of these channels. So it'll be like kick drum here, and it'll be boom, 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 boom. But then when I press the snare, it'll switch. It won't add into it. It'll just switch. It'll go tick, 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 tick. So there's no, at least I haven't figured out yet how to get this basically to be a multi-MIDI channel sequencer, if that makes sense, or to get everything to play on the same MIDI channel on the Modal samples as different CC triggers. I know that sounds out there for a lot of you guys, but either I need it to be unified as one channel here with different subset instructions on, hey, this button is, or this pad is snare, this pad is this pad is kick. Or I need it to recognize multi-channels into this, and I can't figure that out. So I just use this for the drums, and I disregard that second sequencer. So this basically, well, this third sequencer really. So this basically is two sequencers, lead and bass. And this one I could use. I could just go ahead and assign this down here to the third channel, the purple channel, as a, but you know, it's, I don't know. I have yet to see how I'm going to get into the specifics of the MIDI, but that's not why we're here. Let's go back on subject. The recorder I use is the Zoom H5. It's okay. These two lines work great. These line inputs down here, 1 and 2, are great. The problem I'm having with the EXH4, which is this attachment here, which includes additional XLR inputs, is no matter whether I use an XLR connector or a TRS connector, I get hum and noise. I've tried the pads. I've tried turning off the pads. And then I say, okay, well, where's the problem? So I try to, you know, reverse engineer it and say, well, is it a wire? Is it a cable? Is it a plug? Is it an adapter? Is it, what can it be? And when I go ahead through this, everything, I found out that it has nothing to do with the source. I can plug in, if I plugged in the Modal samples, which is typically plugged into channel 2, if I move this plug up here, it'll get the same noise. So there's something wrong with either the capsule, which it shouldn't be because I barely use this thing. So, but anyway, that's my biggest frustration with the Zoom, is that hum. Now here's the catch though, is that that's an audio recorder. But like I said, I can record my sequence here, my MIDI sequences here and then there, which is actually more helpful. So it's basically, I have two options. I can record the MIDI sequence as well as the audio sequence, which is great. So I'm not exactly, you know, hamstrung. That's just for monitoring and consolidate everything into a nice package. Back here, you'll notice all the MIDI is coming through this quadra through. So again, this is where it's coming in. This is the output of the MIDI, and it's controlling all four of the other things here, with this just receiving clock, stop, start clock, and sync timing and such. So here's what I like. So typically, and I think I have everything turned off now, but typically, actually no, I might have it already set up. Let's see what happens. Let's take this bad boy off. This is how the workflow works. This is already on, right? You see the light there. So this is how it speeds up, and it's convenient for people that don't like tear up and set down. Because even with this small amount of rig, it can be take a long time to get going. So let's check it out. All I do is flip this and watch the magic. Everything went crazy. So I don't know if you saw that. Let's try that again. I'm gonna turn everything off. And because everything is plugged into the Furman power conditioner, there should be nothing damaging about what I'm doing here. But let's check that out. Let's check it out again. I'm gonna reach here and everything's gonna go crazy. So everything turned on with the exception of the recorder, which is simply that. And the drum machine, which is over here, sorry. That. So that's so quick. Basically, and focus. So basically, you're talking about four things to turn on. The synths and sequencer, which is 1. The recorder is 2. And 3 is the Modal samples, the drum machine. So it's only 3 things to turn on, with the exception of the main power, which is I'm only going to turn off when I'm unplugging it. I can leave it plugged in. So anyway, basically, I have everything attached to a plexi board. So I can lift up, catch it. Yeah, so anyway, it's all on a plexi board. Nothing moves. I can try and move it. Everything is Velcroed down. Can't lift it up. Of course, I can lift it up if I actually use my man strength. But, you know, as far as moving things out of place, accidents, or, you know, getting cables confused. So that's, oh, well, let's worry about taking it off in a second. But basically, the idea is this, is to strap down everything on that plexiglass as a base for the bag itself. And let's take a look at the bag. All right, this is the G-Mixerbag by Gator. And going over some of the numbers here, it costs $120 for the bag. I was thinking about going hard case, but the hard case would have been a lot more expensive and a lot heavier. This bag by itself is 8 pounds. I'm sorry, forgive me. The bag by itself is 7 pounds. And this is the medium bag. This is the 3121, 31 inches across, 21 inches deep, and of course all of them are the same 8 inches height. So it gives me some room to work there. There's rigid sides, semi-rigid sides, padded sides, and then the bottom is soft. The entire case is soft, which reduces the weight. That's why I use the plexiglass to add some firmness to beef it up on the bottom there. But I paid $60 for the plexiglass, and then I had to chop it down to size. It's a 1/4 inch thick. And it's clear. I was thinking about the black, but I went with clear. And that's the heaviest component. That's actually 8 pounds. I could have shaved off half the weight if I went with the 1/8 inch size or 1/8 inch thickness. That could have been 4.4 pounds, but the cost was about the same. And I was worried about rigidity at the time when I bought it. So anyway, I'm done with that. The Furman cost $30, I think. And the USB hub cost $22. It actually is listed for $48. I got it for sale, half price, B&H, during one of their flash events. And I thought it would be a smart buy, and it came in very handy. It's one of the better purchases I've made this year. The other one is the Velcro. The Velcro that I used for this whole setup, it was 10 feet by 1 inch, or I'm sorry, yeah, 1 inch by 10 feet. And it cost $21. Amazon prices fluctuate with some of these smaller items a lot, so be careful with that. And that's pretty much it. Aside from all the gear and the cables that you should already have, this setup, this portable rig, is setting me back $253, which I was aiming for $200. So I'm over my limit, I'm over my target goal. But the good news is that I don't have to set this up. And if I need to move, I just carry it up to stairs. I go to the library or wherever I'm going. I rock the headphones, maybe not those open backs, but I can rock the headphones without having to worry about plugging MIDI and plugging power and plugging audio, because you have to deal with those 3 things every time you break it down. So let's look at what we got here. Let me just power this stuff down real quick. All right, so the bag as it is should look like this. All right, you get these straps. And again, this is a mixer bag. This is meant for a large format mixer. And turn this off. Take this here. All right. And then when I'm done, I go ahead and unplug. Give me a second. I unplug everything, grab the extra long cable, and I put it in that corner there. For illustration purposes, I'm just going to keep it moving. Now, I go ahead and close it up. And there's a zipper here with some Velcro that closes the top pad, the top flap. And then you just close this side. You have a little bit of extra storage for cables and such. I keep extra Velcro, not much in there. But basically, that's the whole bag. It's a great buy. It's to keep the weight down and everything. I think it's worth it, you know. I could have went hardwood and all these custom cases, but that would have been too heavy to lift. So it's kind of a compromise. You know, like I said, you know, it's not super portable, but it's portable enough that you can move from one spot to the next or if you have a surface area that you use for double duty. Let's say you have an office with a big enough surface area or what have you. You can go ahead and clear that space, put this up, plug it in, go, tear it down, put it back. So anyway, some of the things I wanted to talk about was this should help with your setup and breakdown. But again, it's not going to be something that you take to on an airplane, is a good example, or the bus stop. You want to go something smaller, more convenient, like something like this. This bag, I can easily fit my model samples and a synthesizer in there. I'll probably end up putting a plexiglass in there as well, so I can just transfer over the Velcro, tear it off of there, slap it on there with a small synthesizer there, and call it a day. And that'll be my portable jam session. And this is truly purse size, so I don't even know what kind of bag this is, but it's cheap, and I can always use a USB power bank for those items in there. So I could have went with the portable power for the remember I said that everything is powered via the USB plug or multi-socket. I could have done the same with this. This can go AC/DC to USB, but I didn't want to have to buy extra stuff. So I'm using the cable that came with it natively with the Elektron model samples and just plug it directly into the main power. And then I bought a $7, $8 USB, AC/DC to USB. It has a barrel connector on there that I can then use on that with that power strip. Anyway, so that's my portable setup over there. That bag that I just showed you is my actual portable setup. This is kind of like my, I don't feel like tearing it down, building it back up setup. Anyway, going back to the points I'm making. So it's quasi-portable. I would have went with thinner glass. I would have gotten the 1/8 inch plexiglass instead of the 1/4 inch, so I could save some weight, shave off 4 pounds. Altogether, this is 27-pound setup. And depending on what gear you have, you can, play with that as well. Like I already talked to you about the recorder noise. That has nothing to do, well, it has something to do with the setup, but I do have a mix pre that I'm thinking about, a Sound Devices Mix Pre 3 that I'm thinking about incorporating into there. But then I would need a small little mixer to consolidate one of the channels, because it only has 3 channels and I have 4 channels of audio that I need. Yeah, the thing about the rack, the thing about the plexiglass is that I intend to, underneath the plexiglass, since it's rigid, I intend to go ahead and put some rack gear underneath there. And if you use your imagination, this thing goes across, let's see, right under there, because I have 8 inches to play with, right? A lot of that space to the top part of the bag is unused. If you see that, that's unused space. Might be heavy, but what I'm going to do is, and I might just switch it out later on, now that I know the plexiglass is pretty strong and rigid as it is, I might size down the plexiglass and go with the 1/8 inch and just attach some rack ears. 19 inches, I think, is right here across, and I could put a compressor, 2-channel compressor, and maybe a half a rack interface or something like that. In addition, back here, I also have room for, I can slide in a laptop stand and keep that laying on top. And then when I need to attach my laptop or attach a mixer, I can have that actually up here when I'm actually set up. That laptop stand I had a great one that I bought actually from Amazon. I don't know what the name of it is, but I paid like $40 for it. So between the laptop stand goes back there, and up here, maybe you have 4 channels of compression going across, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I'll get some FMR audios, RNCs, 1776 or whatever going on. So I could get like 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I wouldn't need all of that, but yeah, at least 2 channels of compression, and then I just add something over here to keep it level, add the rack mounts in the back so everything was on the same level. But it's strong enough to do it. It'll add some weight, but hey, if we're talking ultimate, as far as, you know, having everything on ready to go in the bag, you could add a compressor or interface, or something of that nature, or maybe even storage for your wires or something like that. Again, I'll probably have to take down that, just change this plexiglass because this bad boy is kind of heavy. Let's see, what else did I miss? Oh, the flap, the lid. There's a little lip on here. It doesn't quite open all the way, meaning it's not flush. It's not flush with the bottom of the bag. So if I do use the laptop stand, this is going to have to like push up and out. So I can't say that's a bummer. They did that because this is a mixer bag and it's meant to protect things, keep them in there. So I can't hate on that. So while I do appreciate it, and it's not like rigid back here, so it's not like it's going to, I can still put the stand right there. It would just kind of always be pushed back like that, you know. But anyway, and yeah, the weight is 27 pounds. You can get that down to 23 pounds or less, depending on your gear. If in retrospect, I would have gotten the G-Mixerbag 26, what is it? 3121. So I would have gotten the 31 instead of, I'm sorry, I do have the 31. I would have gotten the 2621 as I was originally gonna say. It's the same price as the medium-sized one, but it's a little bit more manageable. I can handle a lot more. I mean, I can handle, it takes less weight. It's smaller. It would weigh a lot less. Estimating, I could probably, let's see, between thinner plexiglass and a smaller bag cut off 5 inches. Because smaller means less gear, I could probably keep this under 20 pounds easily. The plexiglass alone cuts this from 27 to 23. So if it's even smaller than that, plexiglass is so dense, you know, yeah, we're talking about something 15, 16, 17 pounds easy. And that is doable. You can probably get away with a 26 by 21 work surface with a flap on the back in most situations. That can accompany your laptop bag or whatever. But anyway, this is just my idea. I've seen other people with their solutions, mostly on Reddit, and I wish that community would come to YouTube because they have a lot of great ideas over there. But there's a lot of Reddit threads out there that discuss Dawless rigs and Dawless setups and stuff. And this was my solution. I was really going after the weight. I knew I had some things laid out and I wanted 2 floors, not just the one. One of the reasons I bought this bag was because the flap goes all the way down in the front. It's not like a case or a bin. I've seen people settle with those setups. I don't really like having to dig down and into to play. So this works for me. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Is it something you may consider? I hope this sparks some ideas of originality on your part. I highly recommend repurposing the mixer bags from Gator. They are well positioned to for the Dawless crowd, unintentionally, but they did a really well done job. And for this project to cost, you know, $250, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and I can always rearrange everything. And like I said, the Velcro makes it great. It locks everything in, and I can just go ahead and tear off pieces that I want to take on the road and put it in a smaller case. One synth, one drum machine, what have you. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, and I hope this helps. Take it easy.